This your boy Chris Cash, aka I'm Elgin, aka Man of Many Talents, aka Last of a Dying Breed, aka Cash Adonis, and you listen to the world's most famous podcast on the planet. You listen to did I say that right, Jerry? Yo, this your boy Chris Cash, aka I'm Elgin, aka Man of Many Talents, aka Last of a Dying Breed, aka Cash Adonis. And I say that 18 times in a row. Listen to the world's most exciting and most informational podcast on the planet. You know, I ain't been smoking none of that cannabis. I just simply just forgot. Okay, but listen, man, got two guests. I don't know how much money. Okay, people team be paying them to want to be annoyed by me, but I thank them. Y'all make me look good. Want you guys introduce yourselves to everybody. Who you be?
Chris, thank you for having us here. I'm Ruben, and I'm co-founder of Delivered Inc., and I'm here with my co-founder, Jackson.
Cash, that was a great intro, man. I think you have to teach me how to do that, because I think I'm gonna have to start like really leaning into that. But I'm Jackson, and I co-founded, and I'm co-CEO with Ruben of Delivered Inc., a Massachusetts cannabis home delivery company who we're hoping to take live by June. In our first location, and hopefully have the second location kind of around that same time. So happy to be here, man.
Sure. Thank you for having us, man.
Man, no doubt. You guys got one of the first home cannabis delivery system or that's in your state. How did that come about, and why you guys? Why you?
That's a good question, man. Ruben.
Yeah, so first of all, it's not even first on the state. We're one of the first home delivery businesses on the entire East Coast. So we're trying to make some pretty big moves over here. And the why us, right? So thankfully, Massachusetts came out with this program called the Social Equity Program back when they legalized cannabis. And the purpose of this program is kind of to help people who were disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs. It's supposed to help us have somewhat of a level footing to enter the legal cannabis industry. Level footing with the big corporations who have no criminal record and have lots of money. So, you know, they're trying to give us a fair shot, and this license is kind of the most real way that they're doing that. So the home delivery license, which was what we have, they made it exclusive to people who they consider social equity applicants. So with that opportunity, we have a 3-year stretch where we're going to be we're going to have limited competition. And we're going to have a real opportunity to build a brand here in Massachusetts and hopefully expand beyond there shortly thereafter.
Why us? And this is kind of segue really well into kind of why I'm here as well. So before I met Ruben, so I worked as a corporate attorney in Boston. I had started my career in New York, working on like capital markets and big deals for like these large corporate clients. And I grew up in the hood. Like I grew up in public housing. Most of my friends don't know that like, I was in every, social welfare program. Like I was on welfare, Section 8, like you name it. We were a family of 6 kids, and I came from Dominican Republic when I was 6. My mom was already here, met this lady kind of for the first time. And now she had to kind of take care of these, 6 kids. And she had 2 more by the time I came back. So I met 2 of my brothers. And I grew up, in the projects. So there wasn't a lot of opportunity. And I was kind of that guy that everybody's like, hey, you're going to go somewhere. Like, you're a smart kid. Like, I like reading. So for me, like, I kind of like, this has always been something that's important to me, like kind of giving back. And then I had this, this platform, like I was a corporate attorney now. I was making pretty good money, and I found, I was actually volunteering mentoring in the city of Boston, and then that's where I met Ruben. Him and I were both mentoring. It's run by like Angelina Jolie and like whoever she's with. But essentially, it's called Kind, and Kids in Need of Defense, and basically they illegal and undocumented immigrants, like children. They help them get permanent residency status and stuff like that. So, and I did a lot of free work for them or pro bono work for them as an attorney, but here we were mentoring like at-risk like youth in the city of Boston, and so I met Ruben there, and Ruben started telling me about the social equity program, and he really wanted to detail about like what it was and like this opportunity. And I was like, hey man, like like it took us a little bit to connect on this. But once, you know, at some point I was like, hey, like I want to do this. Like I want to help. After really thinking about the program, the one thing that Ruben didn't mention about this social equity program is you still need a lot of resources. You still need a lot of money. And like the reality is it's one of those weird, like everybody thinks they got this golden ticket, like, you know, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. But the reality is, honestly, like this ticket is kind of rotten, right? Because a lot of people, and what I've seen is they start throwing everything into this, because now they got this exclusive license. But as you're throwing stuff into it, right, like you need to get a property before they give you a license. You need to hire lawyers. You need to hire all these people. And then you have no money, right? And then you still have no license. Like it's gamed in a way, honestly, where, you know, if you have money, connections, and things like that, you'll make it, right? But like for the majority of people that this license was made available to, like they don't have money, connections, you know, that's why they were given this license. So they almost have no real way of getting into this industry, like in a way that makes sense, right? So Ruben and I, when we connected, I was like, the thing about Ruben, and I'm sure like it's gonna be obvious, it's like this guy works. Like, this is me and Ruben. I'm 10 years older than Ruben. Don't look at it. It looks like Ruben's 10 years older than me. I'm just kidding. But like, you know, like one of the things about Ruben is like Ruben is me times 10 at his age. Like this is a guy that like I think about it still to today, and I'm like, you know, I said this to Ruben, and he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I don't know how you fell down to me." Right? Like how I am so lucky to literally like walk into this industry and find one of the hardest working, most entrepreneurial people I've ever met in my entire life. Like it is crazy still, right? That like I still think about it. It's crazy that like Ruben went and talked to some investors, people, anybody, and they walked out of there without having Ruben signed up for something. Like it's just like that's how amazing Ruben is. Now, I'm not Ruben. You don't have to like, but like I just want to get that out there because like that's why I quit my job. I was making six figures. I had, you know, what's now $1 million condo in Boston that I owned. Like I sold that, took that money, and like I come from nothing, right? Like all this is all I have. My family still depends on me, but I took all that and I was like, I'm putting it in Ruben, me, and this company because like that's who Ruben is, right? So that's how we got here, right? So part of it was like I was done with that corporate stuff, man. It's 120 hours for somebody else. Honestly, some white dude just out there cashing checks. And I am just, you know, writing away, you know, and I was like, yo, like, it doesn't make any fucking sense, man. Like, you know, like I ran a bar before I went to law school. Like I tell Ruben sometimes it's all the time, but like I've been working full time since I was 14 years old. Like I've had 40 plus jobs, right? Like I'm done working for the man. Like, you know, either the man's going to look like me, or, you know, we're just going to do something else. And that's what this is for Ruben and I. Like we're not going to become the man. Like we're just going to change the face of it. And honestly, man, like do it differently. Like, cause it's all fucked up right now. The way they handle everything, we're going to take care of our employees. Like we're in this, honestly, man. Like
we're in this for the community. We're not just doing this for the money. We're doing this to help others, to build a foundation, a platform for us to be able to really have an impact on the community. Both of us know what it's like to have nothing. Both of us know what it's like to struggle, coming up with your parents having to work all the time, coming up with no parents, coming up with whatever it may be. We've been dealt pretty crappy hands in our past, but the thing about us is that we don't care. You know, we find a way. We have the will to keep pushing forward no matter what, and that's kind of what we want to do. We want to use our skills and the blessings that we've received to help others get out of their current situation or find a better situation.
It's just funny that you said that, because when we got into this, the plan was actually to help other people get their business off the ground, right? And like honestly, man, like some of these investors will probably hear this. I apologize. Like I threw out some stupid ideas. Like what I know is stupid ideas now, because like I was like, people are gonna believe that Ruben and I can get this done because of who Ruben and I are, and like the fact that we've accomplished something. Like I'm not some kid that like their parent, Ruben either, right? That some kid, their parents paid for everything for them to go to law school. But like no, we applied to undergrad by ourselves. We have to figure out how to do that. We have to figure out like, you know, how to, fill out these applications and these forms and get the, just stuff that
how to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a college degree.
exactly, right? Like but all that stuff like has made us resilient and has made us be able to to rely on ourselves, right? Instead of having to go other people. But anyway, long story short, I thought that was enough, right? That like I worked for two of the biggest law firms in the entire world, right? And like I'm not saying it was easy, but like if it's something that I wanted to do, I could still be doing it, right, at a high level. But we went out and we wanted to help people out. And so we pitched that idea that we would help people with the social equity license get their cannabis companies off the ground. We didn't want to do this because we didn't want to run.
Oh, Jackson.
Well, yeah.
I was already working on my own.
Ruben loves this. He loves everything that has to do with work. He's a busy dude. But I wanted to just like help, right? But they were just like, no, like, what have you done? I'm like, yeah, I ran a bar. That's the other thing. I was like, I opened a bar when I was like 25, right? And like, that wasn't enough. Sold that for a profit. It's still operating in the city. Sold that for a profit. Went, used the proceeds to go to law school. Like, that wasn't enough. Like maybe I should have told them that I used to like, like slang or something, but like that's how you get out of the hood. Basically, like if you're a smart dude, nobody gives you a shot. Like I had to sell like weight. I was moving weight. And eventually at one point I was like, yo, like I can't do that. Some dude like, owed me like $3K. And I was like, yo, what's up? Like, where's his money? He's like, what are you going to do? Break my legs? And I was like, no, I'm not going to break this fucking leg. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is not for me. This is not my life. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool. It's just not for me. Like, I'm not that dude. Like, let me go read books. And then I went to law school and it was the easiest shit I ever done in my life. Compared to like, literally, telling people, like having people like, break my leg or McDonald's, like that's hard work. Like, reading and stuff like that. Anyway, digress. Dude. And so that's why we're here really too. Because we needed to prove that we could do this. Apparently, like it wasn't enough that we've done all this stuff. We have to prove. So that's why we're here. That's why we're one of the first, because we're going to prove it. We're going to prove that we can do this so that once we have this off the ground, honestly, then maybe they'll take us seriously that we, let us help other people. Because this is a golden ticket, man. But without financial resources, really that's where it's at. We're dead in the water. Like it's just like it's a lot. Ruben and I have raised $350K,
Wow.
but it wasn't easy. Like, and to be honest, like, and I hope some of my friends see this. They let us down. They're like, so I have these rich lawyer friends. Dog, I'm telling you, it's crazy. Rich ass lawyer friends. They're making $200-300K. Yo, I got $10K from my best friend, a chick. Like it's just insane. Because like I would give them the shirt off my back, but it's like I don't know if they didn't believe in us. But like, so raising this money was tough. Even the people that like you expect to have your back, like didn't, right? So this is what, like, I'm dealing with that. Ruben's dealing with that. Like people are dealing with even more. It's tough. It's a tough industry, but like we're gonna make it, and then we're gonna help other people make it. So that's why I'm here, and I know that Ruben's in here. One, because he's just a beast, but two, because he believes in that too. Like we're going to pay it forward for sure.
Cash Cam listeners, you can now take Cash Cam everywhere you go. Never miss an exclusive interview. Now available on all major platforms. Yo, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in. Make sure you download this episode and make sure you tell all of your friends and family do the same. I mean, everybody that have eyes, have a brain, and have a soul. Make sure you download every episode. You know how some people say, I pray for you, I wish well for you, but it's just something you say. I mean it, bro. Because I don't want you to break my leg, bro. I don't owe you.
I know, dude. I can't.
I don't owe you nothing. Guys, come in peace, bro. Okay.
Too nice. I come in peace, bro. Too nice.
I want you to make it. I want you to prosper. Lord, please let him prosper, man. I'm going to. Let me shut up. I don't want my arms broken.
True story. I swear to God, it's a true story. I swear to God, it's a true story. I was just like, holy shit. I'm going to get beat for $3K, and I just got to walk away.
No, but that's I'm glad that you share that, because it's people that's listening from all walks of life that needed. We look at people that may be doing better in areas, right, of their lives or whatever, and we go, oh, everything must be peaches and clean. They got this the easy way. They didn't go through nothing. They don't know what the struggle is, or they trying to be stingy. And so I love hearing that, because you're not entertaining that life. You saying, look, I came from that. So so if you just came in on this part of the interview, with shame on y'all, and you just hear me talking about our business that we finna, put out there, and how don't be getting all jealous and envy and stuff. Be behind this interview and pay attention to what I just said. So I love that, man. You gotta show people that, because for myself, when I'm interviewing you guys, I love hearing that. I don't want to just be scripted. Man, that's why I say I want to make sure I do everything right, because you ain't gonna break my arm. Now, how did y'all meet?
Yeah, I mean, I remember I was working at a law firm as a paralegal. We were doing it was an immigration law firm, and my boss, he gets very excited about volunteer work and about lawyer stuff, and he's a huge lawyer. So he sent me this email about that organization, Kids in Need of Defense. They were hosting some type of mentor program for some of the kids that they were helping out, and they were looking for mentors. And my boss was like, "Dude, you should go do this. You should volunteer as a mentor. You're the perfect person to be a mentor for someone over there." So I was like, you know what? Why not? We'll see what's over there. We'll see what's up.
Right.
And at the time, I was already in the social equity program. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to move forward in the industry. Actually, what am I saying? At that point, I had 55 acres tied down, Chris. 55 acres tied down that I was about to convert to a cultivation facility, and then COVID came around, so I lost the funding for that project.
That damn COVID messed everything up for everybody.
I could not believe it, and the worst part is that I lost my funding the week or so before I was about to receive my license to begin operations, to begin the build out and whatnot. So we had the money, we had the land, we had the paperwork in order. Then COVID comes in and boom, everything goes to crap. So, things were still looking positive when I met Jackson at that networking event, and I started pitching to him. I knew with his lawyer background that he would make a great asset to the team, and I was like, "Dude, why don't you come join this cultivation project I'm working on?" And so luckily for him, he didn't join the operation then, because a few months later is when that project went bust. But because that project went bust, I was able to pivot and find this home delivery niche. And that's kind of where Jackson and I really were able to align our values and come together and start working on something together.
Tell the people listening in better than I can, because I'm known to mix things up. I don't even know how I got this job. I don't. But let's get off of me. Let's talk about you. What does soccer mean to you?
Soccer is a way of life, dude. It's a passion. It's just a huge love of mine that's really become one of the major pillars in my life that kind of propels who I am and why I do what I do. I got into it maybe 15 years ago at this point. I was 11 years old, and my dad, he was a referee doing in-town games. He was refereeing my games when I was 11 years old. Oh, wow. So that's the type of game he was doing. Me being a kid, I was like, wow, this guy's inspirational. This guy is he's coming out, and on top of having a job, he's being a referee for my games. I bet you I could do something like this. Right. And at the time, like Jackson said, I mean, I knew my family was struggling. I knew we were on some welfare programs. I knew that my parents were working nonstop to make ends meet. So I kind of saw this as an opportunity to start making some income at 11 years old. It seemed like the perfect time for me to start contributing financially to the family. So when I turned 11, I immediately applied to become a referee. I took a little 8-hour course. I took a test. And boom, I got my badge. And at the time, I was only doing it for money. I did it for money all the way through college. And I was literally putting my heart and soul into that, even though I had no idea what it was going to mean to me. I was working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Literally, I would put in close to 30 hours of my weekend just straight into soccer every single weekend. So while everyone else was out partying, hanging out with friends, doing whatever normal teenagers do, I was out at the soccer fields just refereeing nonstop. And eventually I realized that I loved that a lot more than I ever loved playing. And I realized that there's a lot of doors that this could open for me if I continue at it. So eventually I started putting in a little bit more effort, trying to actually learn what refereeing is about. Yeah, I think I started doing my first like state cup tournament when I was around 15, 16 years old. That's like what crowns the best youth team in the state, and the winners from that go to regionals. I got selected to go to regionals 2, 3 times, I think around 2016, 17, and 18-ish maybe. And I was really starting to work my way up right around 2018. I also started doing maybe even before that, around 2015, I started doing adult games. I started doing high school games. By the time I was in college, a sophomore in college, I started refereeing college games as well, so NCAA games. And at this point, it just became a passion that's kind of taken over. I call it a hobby, but at the same time, that's a whole other career in itself right there.
Wow. First of all, man, slow down, buddy. All right. You think you all that, brother? Okay. You didn't give me a list of things. You gave us a Christmas list. Okay. What's who on the naughty list with Santa? Okay. I mean, come on, man. Hold up. Now I'm making what I accomplished look like a welfare case. Okay. All right. Man, now a soccer referee. And I ain't forget about you, Michael Jackson, Mr. Jackson down there. You said that it's interesting that you took being a referee for a game that you love. And you are now in the cannabis business and you got this home cannabis license business, and with your partner in crime, you take what you learned from your being a referee in soccer. You take what you learned Jackson, from the corporate world, like you said, from the streets. And it's just amazing how you guys can butter all that up and put it all into something so special like this company, guys. You guys are building. What do it takes? How much of your past do it takes to put in your current to be like you guys?
Yeah, man. So to kind of say, like, honestly, Ruben's bringing in soccer and the ref stuff in all the time, and like, I mean, some of it is even like as he deals with me, because like that's the other thing that you kind of just don't realize sometimes when you're in your own world, right? Like, I've been in my own world trying to achieve Jackson stuff. Like, I've been trying to get this person to, to the law firms and stuff like that. And something you forget about, other people. And like, sometimes when you interact, if you don't really take a second to like look at those interactions and stuff like that. And anyway, so like Ruben, man, has this crazy, crazy patience, right? That I think just has to come from like, dudes just running up to you and just yelling in your face, like when you screw something up, because like whenever like, and like I tend to get really like excited about stuff, and Ruben would just hear me out, and like doesn't let emotions get, like, it has to come from soccer. Like, I've never seen, so anyways, I do think that like we bring in a lot of that stuff into it. But honestly, to get to where we are, you don't need anything special, right? Like, that's a thing. Like, even the stuff that we've already done, like, I think that makes us, I think that's kind of put us a little bit ahead of the pack, but I think anybody can do it. I think that's a real fallacy. I think the real big problem with all this is that they make it seem like a special type of person can do this, and that's not true, right? Sometimes it's as easy as money, right? Like, we've seen this already, where there's people that like, they get money from some source, and you have kids out of college that have like maybe dispensaries too, like, dispensaries and cultivators. And you think like, what did that like college kid, what has he achieved in that time? But probably not much, just that he has access to money. And I think that that's very similar here. I will say that like it helps, right? It helps to have a legal background. It helps to like, have that refereeing background or just that hustle. But that really is all what it comes down to. And like, I think that that's where Ruben and I like really connected, and why we're here and successful. We're going to be really successful. And it started at that early age where we needed to hustle. So we took that kind of like, that negative thing that was brought on to us. We didn't choose to be born to families that were poor, but like we were, right? But then, so we took all those lessons, like having to fend for ourselves and having to all these things. And now we just keep building on those life lessons. So at the end of the, like, I always think that like, yeah, it sucked that, some people are born with more than others, but like, there is something that those people that are born with more than I have, or I was, that they don't have that I do. And it's just all those life experiences of just trying to catch up to them, right? And granted, like, I'm 35, I feel like I could have accomplished all this stuff when Ruben's going to accomplish it, or even be going to a law firm. I went to a law firm late. I mean, I've had like a pretty colorful way to get there, right? But so it takes us a little longer, But I really do think that like that's what it takes, man. Like I think
Yeah, and yeah, not to, so I agree with the
yeah,
major point of what you're saying, Jackson, but I do disagree with a few points or like a few of how you're getting there, right? So I think that what it really comes down to, though, it's not our personal experiences that creates what we have. It's our ability to learn from these experiences,
yeah.
right? And to extract some type of lesson from everything we come across. And that really, I think, is one of the biggest things that as an entrepreneur, you need to know how to do. And, like, regardless of what type of business you're getting into, yeah, you don't need a lawyer degree. Yeah, you don't need to be a soccer referee. You don't need anything in particular. You just really need a willingness to learn, a willingness not to give up, and a willingness to take a couple punches to the face,
So
because it's going to happen, and you have to be prepared for it, and you have to be capable to move forward.
so I don't.
Bro, I just wanna,
Can I just respond though? I just want to respond.
yeah, hold on, Jackson. I got you. Ruben, I think Chris Rock, or he beat you to the punch.
Well,
Go ahead, Jackson. Go
no,
ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think we're that far apart, and I totally 100% agree with everything you're saying. But what I was gonna say is that it is so the personal experiences, right? They inform all that other stuff once you do that like reflection, right? Like so you have to have that ability to grow and learn from all those experiences. And I guess what I was trying to get at is like we have those experiences. Like you grew up in the hood, you have the experiences you need to be here.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
what you need to add to it is that reflection. Like you need to start thinking about ways like that to make yourself better, right? And like make yourself better, that's iffy, right? Because like make yourself better for us, man, in Cash, you totally can understand this, is me talking this way, right? Like this is not how I talk when I was out, like when I was growing up, right?
Right.
Yeah, like every other word was the N word and this and that. That's just how you talk. You can't do that. So some of it is like stuff like that, like, and it sucks because you're changing who you are for these people. But at the same time, like if you need to get ahead, and you need those people to get ahead, then you got to make them comfortable. So you got to give up, So like we've been doing this dance for so long, but you got to keep doing that dance, right? You have the experiences. It's just finding the way to connect with people. So I think that comes from that self-reflection that you were talking about, Ruben. I think that is key. You just got to develop that, and I don't know how to do that.
Absolutely, yeah, no, and I do have to make one selfish plug-in right here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a bit biased, but I do think that becoming a soccer referee is a very good way to learn these skills and learn how to keep moving forward despite having tough situations thrown at you. So for anyone listening, I highly recommend you look into your state organization's soccer referee program, because I guarantee you they have a shortage, and you can make a lot of good money while learning a lot of really good experiences out there.
Well, I mean, you are a prime example of that, and Ruben and Jackson, man, from sharing your background and like selling your home, your $1 million, I believe, establishments and things like that. I mean, come on, bro. Like people don't want to give away they up they extra hot dogs, man. Dog, you got 10 hot dogs, man. Okay, what is the hardest thing you guys had to face? Because there's still people out there, okay? It's still, on cannabis, and it's not good for you, and it's a drug, and people shouldn't be doing it, and we don't care if it's legal. It's still people out there that feel this way, and people in politician, positions. What is some challenges you both can share with us that you guys had to face, some of the biggest challenges you had to face, getting your business off the ground?
Chris, literally every twist and turn is a challenge trying to get a cannabis business off the ground, especially when you're two brown guys who have no corporate experience. So for us, yeah, I mean, the first one that comes to mind, and this isn't even much of a challenge at this point, but right off the bat, you can't have a traditional bank. Most banks refuse to work with cannabis businesses. So there's that. Number two, like you said, a lot of people don't like cannabis. So when you approach landlords who don't like cannabis, they immediately throw you off the side of the road. Number three, when you find a landlord who is willing to entertain cannabis, because they hear the word cannabis, they think you have $1 million. And they immediately try to get those $1 million from you before you even have any type of income, any type of revenue, and anything even off the ground. So you literally have people knocking on your door left and right, trying to make their penny from you, even though we're just trying to get off the ground. Another thing is investors. We had a lot of investors who simply, their companies or their background wouldn't allow them to be associated with cannabis. So we would present them the great idea. They would love us. They would love, they would love me before Jackson came on board. They loved everything we had going on, but because it was cannabis, they couldn't even entertain us past the initial pitch. I mean, those are the biggest ones that come to mind. Jackson, what comes to your mind?
Honestly, everything. Yeah. I mean, like, I think you got a bunch of them. Like, there's just like, how much time do you have? Like, and there's just like stuff that's not even it's specific to everybody in the industry. Like the way the paperwork has to be submitted, the steps that you have to take before you even get, consideration for a license that can be extremely expensive and like cost prohibitive for just about anybody who has this license that, I've seen. Like, I mean, the list is incredibly long, and the industry, for all the good intentions and everything that everybody says, I hate to get negative, but I do, and I don't want, but like, I just feel that it's a lot of talk, right? It's a lot of talk. I think we all, if we really wanted to do something with these licenses and things like that, and really make an opportunity for people, we could do that. Like, we have the money. It's a money thing, right? And like, we've seen that we're going to send billions of dollars for a war effort in Ukraine, which we should, right? Like, we shouldn't be killing each other for stupid shit anymore, right? And like, that Russian shit has to stop, right?
I agree.
But like, we have the money, right? Like, where's that money going to come from? I know we're going to pay for it down the road, but like money is what's keeping a lot of people from becoming having that generational wealth, being able to compete on an equal footing with their white peers or their white counterparts, right? So their kids can maybe go to the same good schools and things like that. Like, this potentially could be that opportunity for a lot of hustlers of color, people of color. But it won't be. It just won't be, because of the way that it's been structured and the way that it's essentially made the same with everything else. Like, if you have money, you're gonna make it. If you don't, like, you're screwed, right? And like, that's part of what Ruben and I are hoping to, like, at some point change. That we have to kind of build this kind of little army of people that are gonna, like, just believe in that, like, that there's a different way to do this, and like a way that doesn't involve just screwing your employees all the time. And like making policies and laws that only favor a certain group of people or people with money and things like that. A lot has to change, and like, this is just kind of our first step into just like being that, like, that force, right, that can drive some of this change as well. I don't think we're gone, like, but we're gonna help. I think we're gonna help, and this is like a small part of that, I think, or at least for me.
Before we get out of here, let's do a rundown how it runs. So I'm a customer. I'm someone at home, right? My name is Dan, and what I do? I pick up the phone and call you guys, or
No, Dan, we're not old school.
Dan, Jesus,
I'm sorry, Dan 84.
Yeah. Come on, Dan. Come on, you gotta catch up. So just go to our website, Inc.co, and you place your order there. We receive the order at the warehouse. Our team takes care of packaging it for you, gets it in the car, and sends it out delivered to your doorstep. And that's essentially it. It's going to be a very seamless process for every consumer.
Yeah.
How you think this going to be received?
So I do think that we might encounter a couple people who are going to be a bit hesitant to the idea of home delivery. But I mean, even right now, even though we're not in operations, I almost every day, or at least once a week, am getting text messages or people finding my website on Google Business or whatever, and they're already asking to get their product delivered to them.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt that we are going to have a pretty good reception once we launch in the industry.
Yeah,
besides that, 70% of all cannabis sales right now in Massachusetts still occur in the illicit market. Why is that? Because of convenience, right? Most people are used to just picking up the phone, like you were saying, Dan, picking up the phone and dialing the number for your local dealer to come by and drop off their product whenever they feel like it, right? That's what most of us are used to. We're not used to having to go all the way to a dispensary. So by us creating this accessibility for cannabis. You no longer have to worry about going out in public, going to a dispensary, standing in line, talking to a bud tender or whatever. All of that's out the window. We're moving into the modern age where you just look at your phone, place your order just like you do for Uber Eats, for Grubhub or whatever, and one of our drivers is going to go directly to your doorstep and hand you the product with a big smile on their face. No more guessing when it's going to be delivered. It's we even get a map or like an ETA showing exactly when we'll be there and what to expect. So I think that we're going to have a pretty good reception in the industry.
Do you guys have to show your ID?
Yes, you'll have to show it both before when you're placing the order online, just like you would. I don't know if you've ever ordered anything on Weed Maps, but when you're ordering with that service, you have to upload your ID. So very similar to that idea. And then once again, you have to show the ID when our driver is knocking on your door to just confirm that it's actually you.
We were talking to the CEO of Napalm, which is, I think it's Exhibit the rapper, his company. And we were kind of pushing ideas to him. A friend had connected us to him, and he was like, "Hey, look, like in the industry, if it works in California, it'll work anywhere else." And what we saw, I think recently, and Ruben, correct me on the number, but California delivery takes up 25% right now of all legal sales in California. 25%. If we get anywhere near 25%, this check writes itself, right? But I think we're going to be somewhere up there. I think the market is there. I think all the numbers point to this being a runaway success. And honestly, with Ruben at the helm, me alongside helping, and really being involved. I mean, Ruben and I, we're scrubbing floors at our warehouse. That's what we were doing at some point. We're doing everything, but with that type of tenacity, in an industry that literally is open, right? I think that the chances that we fail. I mean, yeah, we could fail if it's going to fall apart, but I think the opportunity is there. So I think we're both confident about that for sure.
Thank you, man. And well said, both of you guys. It's going to succeed for all those reasons that you mentioned. And just for the simple fact, people are lazy, damn it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to order for myself. I'll keep that.
I didn't want to say that, but since you was man enough, me too, damn it. Okay. All right, man. Where can everybody stay connected with you guys? Your websites, your social media, where they can support you, donations, all that good stuff, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So our website is deliveredinc.co, and our social media is at deliveredinc.co. Yeah, just CEO, no com. We're moving out past that age, modern age. Keep that in mind, Dan. So,
damn, Ruben, he's about to come over here and hit you too. Just quick talk. Sorry.
Go ahead, though, Barry.
He's still laughing. Yes, he doesn't stop laughing. No.
No. So that's deliveredinc.co. That's our social media as well. Okay. Facebook, Instagram. My personal Instagram is at @cannabis_entrepreneur. Jackson, what's your gram?
Just my name. You can find me with my name. I'm not very active with stuff. Like I said, Cash, this is the first time I've done kind of this interview. I think we'll do some more. It was fun. You were fun.
You're great.
I think we need to just get our voice out there. So I'm not really that if you add me for anything, anybody out there have any questions, anything at all, Ruben and I are always really accessible. Just shoot us an email, a text, Instagram, LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn a lot to find people. Facebook, I'm old Facebook, but we're on there and we're gonna kind of keep this going. I'm not too active. I am gonna start getting more active. Posting this pretty soon.
Listen now. No, it's gonna be me, and we're gonna send somebody to break your arms if you don't share this interview. Great job, and I just couldn't leave this interview without just asking you guys, how can people help you guys expand, or do you guys got it in the programs and the works? Are you hiring?
That one thing that Ruben and I have made clear. Well, haven't made clear, but we're applying already. Is if you apply for any job for us, there's never gonna be a degree requirement or something crazy like that. If you can do the fucking job, we're gonna give you that job. So that's the only thing I wanted to add. You'll never see you need a bachelor's of science where you just drank for 4 years. That doesn't show us anything. Show us that you can do the work, and that's value.
No, anyone is welcome to reach out to us personally and connect with us to see what type of roles we're hiring for. We are always exploring opportunities for expansion, For example, we're already working on our second location in Massachusetts.
Exclusive. Nobody knows this. Exclusive.
Yeah, this is first time breaking news, actually.
Yeah,
I love it.
Ruben let the cat out of the bag. We have second place already in the works. 2 months, 3 months, and we're gonna be slanging and
Oh
driving.
my goodness! You guys know who Hector Camacho Jr. is? The boxer. About
Yeah.
Macho Time. Well, anyway, he just released his new cannabis, man, called Macho Time Cannabis, and he's just now started it and things like that. So it's a lot of people that will be listening into this interview and listening to you guys outside of Baltimore.
Getting at that, we are always looking for expansion opportunities. So if anyone is interested in working with us in any capacity, do not be afraid to reach out. And we are also we haven't quite figured out a number just yet, or how, if we even move forward with this, but we are playing with the idea of launching another round of fundraising. And if we do, that's going to be open to the public. Our minimum requirement is going to be $100 to get in on the investment round. So we are really looking to get them involved. So by all means, reach out to us, connect with us, follow us, and we're always an open book. We're always looking to network, to make connections, see how you can help us and how we can help you. So definitely don't be afraid to reach out, guys. And Chris, I don't know if you've seen it. I think someone asked a question. Marie asked if we got anything coming in the UK. So unfortunately, the UK is a little bit too out of our reach right now. And I don't even know what their legalization status is over there. But don't take that as a no. We are not afraid to venture out into that market as soon as we get an opportunity to. Yeah. So it's a no for now, but it's definitely a maybe down the line.
Wow, see, man, you got people out UK, you got people everywhere. Yeah, cannabis. Come on now, damn it. So cannabis equal laziness. You know what I mean? You ain't too many people who say let's go do a 10-mile run. Okay,
man. Cannabis is versatile, man. I know dudes that will smoke to go to the gym and lift. Man, like Ruben. Yeah. Honestly, for me,
I smoke and then go run 10 miles. I smoke and do 20 miles on my bike. And then I'll smoke again for the cool down. So
that's what I say most people, man. Okay. Cash Cam listeners, you can now take Cash Cam everywhere you go. Never miss an exclusive interview. Now available on all major platforms. Yo, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in to episode 20. Make sure you download this episode and make sure you tell all of your friends and family do the same. I mean, everybody that have eyes, have a brain, and have a soul. Make sure you download every episode. Episode 21 coming your way. Cash Cam. Yo, teamwork make the dream work. That is so true. We learned that firsthand building this podcast. Just want to salute each and every one of you that have donated to this podcast. Salute each and every one of you that have had the heart to donate. We just want to say thank you to you as well. You guys have been a blessing to us. So now we want to be a blessing to you. Be a blessing, receive a blessing. Now when you donate to us, you receive a blessing from us. First option. Any donation $5 and up, you get to submit any question or any comment, and I will answer your question or address your comment live on an upcoming episode and shout you out. Any donation $10 and up, you get to pick a topic, any topic you want of an upcoming episode of this podcast. Plus everything in the first option. Any donation $20 and up, get to be my guest on an upcoming episode of this podcast. Plus everything in the first and second option. Any donation $50 and up, you get to be a partner in crime. Yeah, you heard me. Partner in crime. You get to co-host an upcoming episode of this podcast. You get to see my notes, her notes, his notes, behind the scenes. You get to co-host an upcoming episode of this podcast with us. Plus, you get everything in the first option, second option, and third option. Can't beat that. And any donation over $100, this podcast belongs to you. Everything is in your hands. From the topic, to the gas, to the arrangement, to the credit. Plus, everything in the first option, second option, third option, and fourth option. Be a blessing, you receive a blessing. Now when you be a blessing to us, be a blessing to you. Send all donations to Cash Up, $, Me Nothing Be Us. Giving is living. Help make this podcast #1. We're changing how media is done.